Good morning, my name is Todd Schonenberg, and I've brought a 1939 Packard Super 8 touring sedan in for the exhibit. It's 80 years old. It has only 72,000 original miles on it, which means it's been driven less than 1,000 miles a year for 80 years. It was sold new up in Monrovia, California, right up by Pasadena in Los Angeles. I can tell from old receipts that it was in that area and it was in Orange County, and I bought it after the previous owner had died, who had lived in Escondido. So, and looking underneath it when I bought it, I could tell it had never been in bad weather or salt or anything. So I've got to believe it's been in Southern California its entire life. I've had it for a little over 12 years. When I bought it, it was hardly running. The brakes didn't work. It leaked gasoline, it leaked water, it leaked oil. The tires were shot. The interior had some holes in the wool, and it had a dent in about every door panel that was on it. I've been into kind of classic and old cars ever since I was a child. About 15 years ago, I started looking for a car from the 1930s. I kind of always liked the look of the late 30s Art Deco kind of gangster car look. This one actually looks exactly like one of the cars that was in The Godfather 2. And when I saw it for sale as basically a hardly running Survivor, I checked it out. It had good bones, and I figured I'd take the risk and buy it and see if I could fix it up. The original MSRP on it was $2,035. And the same year you could get a Ford V8 for about $850. So it was a real premium car, and if you check it out, you'll see a lot of little touches, and also the fact that it's actually quite large, and its engineering was superior to most. The crankcase is actually aluminum, not iron, and it made the car a lot lighter than the other big cars. It only weighs 3,950 pounds, which is surprisingly light for a large car. It has no wood in it; it's all steel. I drove it as kind of Survivor for a few years, and then at one point I made the decision to have it painted and the interior restored. The Classic Car Club of America kind of defines what a classic is, and that's cars made between, I don't have the years exactly right, but like the very late 20s until the late 40s, that were made by usually luxury cars that were made in relatively small quantities for a limited clientele. This one's actually not quite in that category as like a Duesenberg or something like that, but in the late 30s, ostentatious displays of luxury were kind of out of style. And so in that regard, Packard actually downsized its Super 8 in 1939, and this is one of them. They downsized the body, but they kept the same big engine. So it actually is quite zippy. It has a top speed of 95 miles an hour and an overdrive transmission. So it's actually kind of fun to drive. Coming down here from Carlsbad today, I cruised it at 65 to 70 miles an hour the whole way. Joseph Stalin had a bulletproof one, and so did the Emperor of Japan, and Juan Perón had one in Argentina. And if you look at the movie Evita, you'll see Evita in one just like this in a yellow convertible version of a 39 Super 8. What we'd like to do sometimes is take another couple out for dinner in it. And quite often on a weekend, I'll drive to Home Depot in it. There's no power steering, no power brakes. But they actually marketed it as a car that could be, that was easier to drive because it was smaller and 800 pounds lighter than the Packard Super 8 the year before. The trunk capacity is 3 bodies. The hood ornament's called the Goddess's Speed, but everybody calls it a donut chaser. This car's stiff as heck. So if you got hit, you'd go right through the windshield.